Psalm of Solomon with Song of the King. O Lord, you are our King forever and ever. For our soul glories in you, O God. How long are the days of a man's life on the earth? As are his days, so is the hope set on him. But we hope in God our deliverer, for the might of our God is forever with mercy, and the kingdom of our God is forever over the nations in judgment. You, O Lord, choose David to be king over Israel, and swore to him touching his seed that never should be his kingdom fail before you. But for our sins, sinners rose up against us. They assailed us and thrust us out. What you had not promised to them, they took away from us with violence. They did not glorify your honorable name at all. They set a worldly monarchy in place of that which was their excellency. They laid waste the throne of David in tumultuous arrogance. But you, O God, cast them down and removed their seed from the earth. In that there rose up against them a man that was alien to our race. According to their sins, you repaid them, O God, so that it befell them according to their deeds. God showed them no pity. He sought out their seed and does not let one of them go free. Faithful is the Lord in all his judgments, which he does on the earth. The lawless ones laid waste our land so that none inhabited it. They destroyed young and old and their children together. In the heat of his anger, he sent them away even to the west, and he exposed the rulers of the land unsparingly to derision. Being an alien, the enemy acted proudly, and his heart was alien from our God. In all things, whatever he did in Jerusalem, as also the nations in the city to their gods. And the children of the covenant in the midst of the mingled people surpassed them in evil. There was not among them one that worked in the midst of Jerusalem mercy and truth. They that love the synagogues of the pious fled from them, as sparrows that fly from their nests. They wandered in deserts, that their lives might be saved from harm, and precious in the eyes of them that lived abroad as was any that escaped alive from them. They were scattered over the whole earth by lawless men. For the heavens withheld the rains from dropping on the earth. Springs were stopped perennially out of the depths that ran down from lofty mountains. For there was none among them that worked righteousness and justice. From the chief of them to the least of them, all were sinful. The king was a transgressor, and the judge disobedient, and the people sinful. Behold, O Lord, and rise up to them their king, the son of David, at the time in which you see, O God, that he may reign over your servant Israel, and gird him with strength, that he may shatter unrighteous rulers, and that he may purge Jerusalem from nations that trampled her down to destruction. Wisely, righteously, he will thrust out sinners from the inheritance, and will destroy the pride of the sinners as a potter's vessel. With a rod of iron, he will break in pieces all their substance. He will destroy the godless nations with the word of his mouth. At his rebuke, nations will flee before him, and he will reprove sinners for the thoughts of their heart. And he will gather together a holy people, whom he will lead in righteousness. And he will judge the tribes of the people that has been sanctified by the Lord his God. And he will not permit unrighteousness to lodge any more in their midst, nor will there dwell with them any man that knows wickedness. For he will know them, that they are all sons of their God, and he shall divide them according to their tribes on the land. And neither sojourner nor alien will sojourn with them any more. He will judge peoples and nations in the wisdom of his righteousness. Selah. And he will have the heathen nations to reserve him under his yoke. And he will glorify the Lord in a place to be seen of all the earth. And he will purge Jerusalem, making it holy as of old, so that nations will come from the ends of the earth to see his glory, bringing as gifts her sons who had fainted, and to see the glory of the Lord, with which God has glorified her. And he will be a righteous king, taught of God over them, and there will be no unrighteousness in his days in their midst. For all will be holy, and their king the anointed of the Lord. For he will not put his trust in horses and riders and bow, nor will he multiply for himself gold and silver for war, nor will he gather confidence from a multitude for the day of battle. The Lord himself is his king, the hope of him that is mighty through his hope in God. All nations will be in fear before him, for he will strike the earth with the word of his mouth forever. He will bless the people of the Lord with wisdom and gladness, and he himself will be pure from sin, so that he may rule a great people. He will rebuke rulers and remove sinners by the might of his word. And relying on his God throughout his days, he will not stumble, for God will make him mighty by means of his Holy Spirit, and wise by means of the Spirit of understanding with strength and righteousness. And the blessing of the Lord will be with him. He will be strong and not stumble. His hope will be in the Lord. Who then can prevail against him? He will be mighty in his works and strong in the fear of God. He will be shepherding the flock of the Lord faithfully and righteously, and will permit none among them to stumble in their pasture. He will lead them all correctly, and there will be no pride among them, that any among them should be oppressed. This will be the majesty of the King of Israel, whom God knows. He will rise him up over the house of Israel to correct him. His words will be more refined than costly gold, the choicest. In the assemblies he will judge the peoples, the tribes of the sanctified. His words will be like the words of the holy ones in the midst of sanctified people. Blessed are they that will be in those days, and that they will see the good fortune of Israel, which God will bring to pass in the gathering together of the tribes. May the Lord hasten his mercy on Israel. May he deliver us from the uncleanness of unholy enemies. The Lord himself is our King forever and ever.